Yeah. Well, Bloom was a project that was initiated as a competition for the London Olympics, 2012. I developed it together with Elisandra Sek. We've been working together and we decided to do this project. It was a crowdsourcing project. It was an event that was calling too many people in London. So we thought, why not do a piece that it's constantly changing? So we designed this piece after several kind of different attempts of changing and varying the piece and really looking at it as a toy, right? Where people would be able to just not hurt themselves by using it, and they could just connect it to itself in many different ways. So it's quite asymmetric. That allows the combinations to be always different. And the moment that you start building it up, connecting it like a Lego, you start realizing that the combinations are infinite, right? You can always kind of keep on developing new forms. And by developing patterns, you could actually create structure. You can create something that we would call architecture. So that was the premise of the project. Luckily, it went through. The City of London received it very well. And we developed 3 instances in the City of London for the Olympics. One in Greenwich, one in Victoria Park, and another one in UCL Main Quad. So the project was simultaneously in different locations, and people would be called to play with it and alter it. It's actually very simple. It's you have these pieces. All pieces are absolutely the same. In order to have so many pieces as we have around 60,000 pieces. We needed to make them absolutely the same. So yes, we're going back to a process of industrial repetition, but the trick here is that because, as I said, it's asymmetric, you can actually have 3 connections, but each connection allows for different variations, different combinatorics. So basically you start connecting them this way, or you find which pattern you want. And by repeating this process with many pieces, you can create different structures. For instance, if you start following a pattern, you can create a circle. And out of that circle, you will start creating a rigid structure that could actually hold. I think that the game starts happening when people start building something and they realize, well, I need more help. I need a friend that will kind of help me kind of build something larger. And it becomes a collective play, a collective experience. And often, the moment that it collapses, that it falls down because you didn't know how to build it properly, you learn. You learn how structure works, how to build rigidity. And in a way, each time that you keep playing, you start kind of absorbing that knowledge and understanding that the game can actually become quite an architectural piece, a pavilion perhaps. But that's something that you have to discover slowly by playing with it. I mean, we wanted to, in a way, remove a layer of difficulty that sometimes people have when they kind of look at the work, for instance, in this exhibition, when you kind of see a final piece and you don't understand what was the process behind it. So in a project like Bloom, you actually start from scratch. You start from zero, and you realize that the simple rules that kind of start putting together the pieces allow for something complex to emerge. And that's something that we wanted to make the public part of the experience. Yeah, definitely. My own background has to do with the relation between architecture and video games, and I see how instances like Minecraft or video games out there really work on how people and crowdsourcing ideas can actually put together and construct new concepts out of, in this case, digital materials. I think that is definitely something that you can extrapolate to architecture. The moment that you make this form in the computer, it's quite mathematical, and you can calculate how it aggregates, how it kind of simulates. But obviously, the moment that you take it to the physical, you have to take into consideration several other aspects. So for instance, one of the main issues to work with the crowd and with the public with the project is, for instance, the flexibility of the piece. So the moment that you start kind of making the connections, you realize that the flexibility allows you to break the rules, bend the rules, and improvise. And that really makes it far more appealing and also allowing for things that wouldn't be expected from the simulation perspective. And that's, I think, that one of the concepts that how materiality as well lends itself to open the field of what could be simulated in the computer, and it will always be beyond what we could simulate. So I think that the process of creation has to be both, has to be kind of in some degree a system of preconception and simulation, but at the same time, a material system always opens itself up to larger kind of possibilities.